acknowledge also the present of our resource person, especially the governors of from Panay Island, Governor Toto Defensor, Governor Nava, Governor Miraflores, and mga kasamahan ko sa Kongreso. Despite the fact na break po tayo ngayon, we are here as one to make sure that we will get the final answer sa nangyari natin sa Panay Island. Mr. Speaker, last January 2, 2024, while most of our kababayans were still overjoyed by the ushering of a new year, us Ilonggos, however, were greeted with a power blackout that tormented the Panay Island and some portions of Negros Island. What seemed to be a happy new year turned into horrible new year that lasted for almost 4 days. The usually affectionate, friendly, and happy Ilonggos were shocked by the sudden turn of events. Hindi lang po inatake ng asma ang mga kawawang kababayan natin. Hindi lang po nahirapan sa pagtulog ang mga bata at matatanda dahil sa napakainit na panahon. Hindi lang po napanis ang mga pagkain at paninda ng mga maliliit na negosyante, kung hindi halos 1 bilyong piso po kada araw ang tinatayang naging lugi ng ekonomiya ng lungsod at ng lalawigan ng Iloilo. Kung susumahin, halos 4 bilyong piso po ang nawala sa ating ekonomiya sa loob ng halos 4 na araw. Nabanggit nga po ng ating butihing Mayor Jerry Treñas kahapon sa Senado, na maraming mga Ilonggo ang piniling matulog sa plaza at gymnasium. At nalaman ko nung January 6, nung bumisita ako sa isang barangay, pinabuksan mismo ni Mayor Jerry Treñas ang sementeryo kasi mas maganda daw ang hingip ng hangin doon. So dahil sa naranasang init dulot ng maluwakang blackout, paano na ang mga bata at matatanda? Paano na ang mga may sakit at mga nasa ICU kung biglang mawawala ang kanilang life support dahil sa kawalan ng kuryente? I fear that the power outage of this magnitude taking place for the second time in less than a year is a portent of things to come. I sincerely hope that I'm wrong, but this hearing might be able to provide a concrete answer to this. Patikim pa lang po ang itong pangalawang malawakang brownout sa problema sa enerhiya sa Panay Island. Meron pa po bang susunod na malawak na aberya? Ano po ba ang mga pagbabagong dapat nating ipatupad? Yan po ang ilan sa nais masagot ng mga Ilonggo sa pagdinig ngayong umaga. As a result of the region-wide blackouts disruption to our lives and the economy, the Ilonggo people would also like to know who is or are accountable, and more importantly, what fines or penalties can be imposed against these individuals or entities for their inefficiency, malfeasance, and nonfeasance. The Ilonggo people would also like to know how this massive outage can be prevented from ever happening again. Section 2 of the Republic Act 9511 states that the 50-year franchise of the National Grid Corporation or NGCP is granted under the condition that it shall be subject to amendment, alteration, or repeal by Congress when the common good so requires. Mr. Chair, considering the power outage misery that we experience, we better take a serious look whether the franchise is being adhered or not. Mr. Chair and dear colleagues, nagpapasalamat po tayo ang mga Ilonggo sa pagpapatawag ng hearing na ito. With your help, we hope and pray that the rest of the year will be a happy and not a horrible 2024. Papasalamat din ako kay Yusek Sharon Garin for providing us data, for helping us. And alam nyo kasi before na nangyari itong lockdown na ito, December 15, nag-usap kaming dalawa because we fear na mangyayari ulit yung nangyari last April 2023. Nung New Year, nag-usap kami, wala pa siyang tulog, ako din. Sabi natin, eto na. So now, she's there, not as only USEC, but also as an Ilongga. So, Mr. Chair, salamat din kay Pangulong Marcos sa pagbigay ng atensyon sa bagay na ito at sa pag-utos na gawin ang lahat para hindi na po maulit ito. Again, madamo ginisalamat kag maayong aga sa atong tanan.
Thank you, Honorable Baronda. Next to
So, sa background po, for Panay, Panay grid has a unique configuration. So, it is connected to the rest of the Visayas grid through Negros. We have a Panay Negros link. Presentation, please. Second slide. Yes. Can we play the slides, please?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, can we adjust the sound effect? Baka po kasi kawawa naman po yung nagpe-present. Baka there are the people who can present. Are you sick? Do you have problem with your
Lapit mo na lang bunga namin.
or
Okay po.
may problema ka sa ano mo sa
Ngayon lang po, pero okay naman po.
kasi
Okay to present, sir.
no, I mean with all due respect with him, Mr. Chairman, baka naman he's trying his best to explain, but you're having a hard time. We can allow siguro other people to explain it rightly. Baka kasi hindi mo kaya, and we are having a hard time also to understand what you are trying to deliver. But it is in the prerogative ni Chairman. Pero kung kaya mo, sige, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Ayan. No, if let's ask Mr. Clark to present. If the members couldn't understand what he's presenting, if we can ask NJCP to ask someone else to present. Mukhang na-strain na yata ng todong boses ni Mr. Clark kahapon sa Senate. Pabigyan lang ng hot water para baka maayos-ayos ang voice niya. But that, I guess he's the person presenting because siya yung talaga nakakaalam eh. So that's why let's see na lang if you can understand it, then we ask NJCP to ask someone to
If
present.
I may, Mr. Chairman, is he the guy coming from the Visayas system operator?
Ikaw ba yun sa SO sa Visayas?
No, I'm from the National Systems Operations. So,
Is he around yung BSO ninyo? Is he around?
VSO. Yes, yes po.
Oh, baka he can
Hindi,
handle it rightly.
ganito na Honorable Fernandez. If I'll try to check lang later if any of you tells me that you can't understand what he's saying, then we'll ask someone else to present. Okay?
Yeah, no problem, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. Thank you.
Please proceed.
Sir, moving on. So, yun nga po, Panay has a unique configuration. It is connected through the rest of the Visayas grid through the Negros Panay link. In terms of generation, installed capacity is around 670 megawatts, most of which come from the four big plants, the coal plants, PEDC 1, 2, and 3, with a capacity of 83 megawatts and 150, and PCPC at 135 megawatts. Around 70% come from the big plants. And the demand for Panay peaks with a range of 400 to 460 megawatts. So prior to the incident, the grid is in normal condition. Panay PEDC Unit 3, the 150 megawatts, is on maintenance outage. So our demand during that time at around 12 noon prior to the incident is around 400 megawatts. The generation is 361 megawatts only. So meaning the difference is being supplied by our Negros Panay link. So 1206 PEDC Unit 1 capacity is 83 megawatts, but during that time it is loaded at 63 megawatts trip. Upon tripping, syempre we will have some temporary excursions in system parameters, but eventually recovered almost instantaneously. So what happens, yung generation supply natin from 361, nabawasan almost 300 na lang. the difference will be coming from the increased flow for our Negros Panay link.
Sorry, please continue.
Okay. Sige po. So, what we did, we monitor the system uh, based on our data. All parameters in terms of voltage, frequency are within limits, no overloaded transmission lines, operating margin is sufficient. So we did our normal dispatch process. And then our coordination with PEDC Unit 1, they told us they will be coming back online within 2 to 3 hours. However, before 2 p.m., they gave an updated message that they will be coming back later at 1700 or 5 p.m. Forward, please. So this is the actual voltage profile at Panay from 12 noon to 14:19. So as we can see, the dash lines on the upper and lower are the upper and lower bounds for normal voltage. So the data shows that the voltage was within the limits. Not only the voltage, we have data on frequency and we have calculation of the operating margin during that time to show that the system was normal. However, at 14:19, forward please. Almost simultaneously, the following plants trip. When we say almost simultaneously, they have difference, say for example, milliseconds and seconds time difference. In electrical engineering terms, medyo mahaba na po yun. So, a total of almost 300 megawatts of the plant trip together with the reaction of the load, demand also tripped. So, what happened? Panay is left with no generation, no local generation. So we are left with around 119 megawatts of demand load, which is supplied by our Negros Panay link. So what we did, since nagkulang na po, at this point, emergency na po sa Panay. So what we did, yung flow po ng Luzon Visayas link, which is prior to this, nagsusupply si Visayas to Luzon, ni-reverse po natin yung flow para si Luzon naman ang magbigay kay Visayas to augment the loss of the supply. And then we declared yellow alert kasi nga po insufficient na po yung reserve. And then we advise the plants that trip to check their status, and if they're okay, go back online immediately so they can provide voltage support. So sa system po kasi, pag mababa ang load, ang tendency, tumaas ang voltahe. Wala po kasi mag-absorb ng tinatawag nating reactive power or magpo-provide ng reactive power support. For this case, zero generation po tayo. So tumaas ang voltahe, ang tendency po kasi meron tayong protection sa overvoltage para iprotektahan po yung linya natin. Kasi pag yan na damage, medyo mas matatagalan po. So eventually, as a consequence of the multiple plant tripping, overvoltage, nag-trip po yung Negros Panay, resulting to isolation na po ni Panay. That's the sequence. So, that happened at 15:07. So at 15:10, we declared market intervention. Kasi during normal condition, all the plant schedules are coming from the market operator, from IMAP. Kaya nga po, as a proof pa pala, kaya normal tayo nung 12:06, nag-adjust yung schedule na pinapadala ni market para i-accommodate yung mga changes ng mga plant loadings. So ito po yung summary ng timeline for better appreciation. 12:06 to 14:19, yan po yung duration na CPED's unit 1 lang ang wala. So we maintain the system parameters within limits by doing those actions. Yung nga po, we manage the load generation balance as mandated by naman ni PGC. We adjusted MBAR from the different power plants. However, at 14:19, dun sa pula, nagka-emergency state na po tayo after multiple trippings ng mga power plant. So yan po, naka-detail dyan yung mga planta na tinawagan natin, PB101, PDPP, PCPC, at 1437, we allowed them to get their feedback power. Yung mga planta po na yung details na dyan. So, at after 1507, nung isolation ni Panay, we immediately implemented our restoration process. So, at 1524, 17 minutes after nung isolation ni Panay, energized na po uli yung Negros Panay link natin. So, papagapangin na po natin yung power. Load na po tayo gradually, and our main objective now is to provide feedback power to the power plants that were on plant outages, so they can start their units. So for the next slide po, forward. Yan. So 1507, immediately after the isolation, we started the restoration process. So 17 minutes after, we were able to energize the link. The Bacolod Barotac Viejo is the Panay Negros link. We provided feedback power to PCPC at 1547 and PEDC at 1652. Here are the timeline for the synchronization of the plants. So at 1647, PDPP3 was already synchronized, followed by PB101. So unti-unti po pumapasok yung mga planta, unti-unti nagre-restore tayo ng demand. Kailangan po binabalansin natin eh. Pero ang malaking player po kasi dito, yung mga malalaking planta, which is dalawa na lang ang remaining natin. Si PEDC, ay tatlo pala, sorry, ang iniintay natin, PEDC 2, 1 and 2, and PCPC. Si PEDC2 was able to get online the same day at 11:45 p.m. And then si PEDC, almost mga 9 hours. Si PEDC1, January 3, the day after at 7:45 a.m. And then si PCPC on January 5, to almost 2.5 days, naka-online po siya at 1:33. And then, nung nag-clear po siya ng normal loading, stable loading at 12:25, we were able to serve all the remaining loads at Panay. That's why at 12:34, we lifted the market intervention. So our schedules for the dispatch will be again coming from the market. Next po. So this slide just show the timeline. Yung bar graph po, yun po yung duration ng restoration nila. So we can see, nauna po si PDPP3, si PBB101. Habang umahaba po yung bar, umahaba yung time for the restoration. And then ito naman pong graph sa baba, yan po yung restoration ng load. It reflects the demand na nare-restore sa Panay. So gradually po, pag pumapasok yung generator, nakakapag-serve po tayo ng demand. So nung maibalik na po sila lahat, all loads at Panay were being served. That's it po. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark and GCP. Thank you for the presentation. Can we hear from Department of Energy, Yusek Sharon?
Good morning, Chair, and good morning to all the honorable members of this committee. Thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Chair, we would like to start with the presentation on our side on the sequence of events, followed by the assessment of IMAP on what their observation was, and Transco being the transmission corporation of the government, sir. We're trying to present this as objectively as we can, so that the members can assess properly and constructively. Mr. Chair, first to present, Mr. Chair, is ASEC Mario.
Yes, Asek Mario, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good morning to all honorable congressmen present, as well as our honorable officials of the local government unit and all the attendees. I would like to present the collection of the Department of Energy on the different timelines and sequence of events that has happened in Panay Island from January 2 to January 5.